Okay, so this is gonna be a short workshop just on everything Sketchfab. So right now I have my window open. This is the home page for Sketchfab, and I've logged into Cole's account, as you can see here. So why don't we first start with the process to upload? So upload process is pretty straightforward. You can hit upload. It'll tell you that they support all these different file formats. Keep in mind with Cole's Pro account, we have a limit of 200 megabytes for our upload. That doesn't necessarily mean that the OBJ file has to be under 200 megabytes, but the zip folder, which is what we'll be uploading, has to be under 200 megabytes. So, if your .obj.mtl is in here, and I have a texture file here, select all three. You can go to right click and send to, and you can make a zip folder, right? Then this zip folder, we just drag and drop, or you can find it and you can upload it like there. It'll do some processing, hit upload file. Now here, depending on what model you're uploading, in this case, I uploaded one of the soil monoliths. They're quite large, particularly. There's a step 2 part when Sketchfab processes a model. So right now it's just uploading. That should be fairly quick. Once it hits step 2, yes, okay. It'll say it's processing, and you'll notice that, okay, you have a few more options here, but your edit 3D settings is grayed out. I'm gonna come back to this, but here you can, obviously change the title, add a description, do whatever. Because of this project, like the 3D resources project, I try to avoid adding like any description or selecting categories or adding tags, because we want the discoverability really, really low. So just in case, if we upload these as free, we don't want just anyone to download it. Obviously some people can still find it, but I would set the title to strictly like the label or the code that we use. It'll make it easier for the collaborator to see which model is what. Here you can change the public settings. I can change this into private or password. And basically it just means like private is anyone with a link, password is with anyone with a password. And you can use a combination of like, okay, I can set it to free, but privately. So, you can reduce the, again, like which people have access, or we can set to no download, which means that no one will be able to download it, but it'll be available based on these settings. However, we only get 30 non-downloadable uploads per month. But anyways, for these purposes, like right now for the demo, I'm just going to set it to free. And I set it to anyone, and I'll just be deleting this later. For the most part, I would suggest to either set one of these permissions, and you can set it to free or to no download. And this is something that you should confirm with the collaborator on their account on like what these are. Okay, so again, it's because it's processing and it's going to take a while. This can take anywhere up to like 15 minutes. And until then, you can't really click on the edit 3D settings. So for now, I'm just gonna hit save. And I can come back to this later. Just gonna exit out. If I hover over Cole's icon here and go to the models page, you'll see the uploaded models. But in uploads, you can see everything that's uploaded. And you'll see the top one right here is a draft because I haven't published it yet. It's still pending in the processing. Once that's done, you will be able to like click on it and edit the 3D settings. I'm going to show you that process on a different model. I will show you on, sure, let's show you on this one. So this is another different soil monolith that was uploaded some time ago. This has edit properties is basically what that page was, where we can adjust the title or description. I'm going to hit edit 3D settings. This will bring open a new page. And this is sort of like, think of it as like a mini program inside Sketchfab, where we can adjust anything from like the materials it's using, to the lighting, to the view, or even adding like annotations or what have you. So it's kind of low. I hear a lot of seagulls in the background.
Oh yeah, I'm outside.
Oh really? Okay. Some nice ambiance.
If you like seagulls, I guess.
I like seagulls, just not near my food.
Yeah.
Okay, so the textures are loaded. This looks great. Navigation around Sketchfab is left click anywhere, drag is rotate, and right click drag is pan, and then mouse scroll is to zoom. Anyways, so here is your first page. You don't have to worry about this too much. However, maybe by default, if you've oriented it, your monolith or object in ZBrush, where it's like face down on the grid, it'll look like something like this. It's okay when you upload it, it looks like this. You don't have to go back to the other program. In here, like you saw, I can just straighten the model by hitting one of these axes, and I can rotate it per 90 degrees. Yeah. Even if I wanted more finer rotation, I can hit on show advanced rotation, and now I have a gimbal where I can rotate this a lot finer. But since it's only 90 degrees, I'm going to set it upright. So great, that's done. Down here in background, by default, it should be, I think it's color by default. I prefer to have a darker background because it makes the model stand out more. So you can either change this color to a darker color like this, and that should be good. Then going up here, so if you find that the lighting for your object, or there's a lot of details that you can't really see, but you know that the details are there, seeing it through the other modeling programs, you can adjust the lighting. So I'm going to go to my lighting tab here. For this monolith in particular, I have 3 lights. You're allowed 3 different directional lights. You can change these lights into a point light, a spot, or a hemisphere light. For simplicity, I set to directional. And I could rotate these lights and change, how it's like lit up. These directional lights, as the name suggests, lights in that direction. So it doesn't matter where it is, like physically, it wouldn't change the lighting. So I can move this, and it's not really changing the lights. But when I rotate it, you'll see the lighting changes. So for this kind of lighting setup for the soil monolith, I try to have one light hitting maybe at a 45 at the soil monolith, at the detail that we want. And then I have one that's just hitting the side of it, also at a 45, like maybe coming down at from the upper left. You can see, that side, right? And I want it just so it hits the edges. I can change the intensity of it here, so we can see more of the details. And then if that's also not enough, this third one here, I like angling it so it's just like not at 90, but maybe like 85 or 80. So when I raise my my intensity, I get that those creases to show in the highlights. So you can play around with this, adjust it however will you. Remember, the goal is just so if there are certain details the collaborator wants specifically, then make those pop out. And so I have all the detail here. That's great. You can add shadows and anything, but you don't need to. Don't worry about that. Here is environmental lighting. So if I didn't have my manual lights, I'm going to turn this off. By default, you can choose like an environment light where all these backgrounds, like can be like, oh, like urban, whatever. It'll actually set it to environment lighting that it's captured. I like setting it to studio, very simple lighting setup. It's very controllable. And again, for this, I can change the brightness, the intensity, and such. So I like using studio lights and setting it to really relatively like dark, and then using my directional lights to control the amount of detail. That's it for the most part that you should only like be touching when you're uploading this. In the off chance, let's say when you've uploaded your model, but it doesn't have any texture, you don't have to re-upload it. You can upload just your texture file in here, right? Go to manage textures, and you could import your texture in and load that in. Hopefully it'll all load in. Don't worry about all these other settings. Yeah, but you can import and insert other maps into the model, which makes it look prettier. Like, I don't recommend adding post-processing filters because we want to see the original. This is not for like fancy stuff. Just as a side note, I can go over annotations just in case if a collaborator wants to figure out how to. It's very straightforward. You can add up to, I think for the pro account is like 15, 20 annotations. You can add one by just double clicking. It'll create a thing. You'll like say the title. Cool thing about annotations in Sketchfab is that it'll actually automatically save the view. So if I click on that annotation again, it'll go back to that view when I created that. If I want to change that view that I saved, I can just rotate to that view. Let's say this is my new view. I want this annotation to be viewed at. I can click this camera icon and it'll see use the current view to reorient it. So now when I go back and click on it, now it's this view. Okay, so great. This save view function here is actually the default view when you first open up the model. So that's a little bit different. We're going to delete this because we don't need that. So that's about it. Just in case, I can save this default view. So when we go to this link or go to this model, it'll start in this position. That's great. Once you're done everything with that, it looks good. You hit save settings. If you didn't publish it already, there should be another button here that says publish, save and publish. So you can also hit that as well. I'm not going to save this one because I already like adjusted it, so I don't want to change too much. Now you'll see that this is what everyone else will be viewing in this kind of window. It'll like load. Yeah, and there it is. And it might need some extra loading time if this texture is not really there yet. But yeah, that's like everything that I think I could go over in Sketchfab. So for .objs and .mtls, make sure that they're all zipped together with your texture file, and that should simplify the process. If for some reason you have an FBX, maybe you have animation, you can just upload the FBX and it'll also retain everything. There you go. And that's it. I'm going to